the most important first step is getting the word out to people, particularly in some of these fast-changing situations. We had not used the emergency alert system very often in hurricanes because it's a pretty slow-moving event. The watches and warnings go up, you have hours. We had to use the emergency alert system in Hurricane Charlie because the storm was moving so fast in the areas that people had been so fixated on Tampa, they didn't even realize that they were about to be hit with 100-plus mile-an-hour winds. And so using the existing network that we had built in cooperation with Florida Association of Broadcasters, the Florida, our emergency alert system across radio and television, but then getting information to people as they were evacuating. We saw this in our earlier storm a couple years earlier in Hurricane Floyd, that when people left their community, they didn't know what was going on. They would literally get on the interstates and get in these huge traffic jams and have no idea what was going on. So where a lot of times commercial broadcasting was not broadcasting about storm because it wasn't affecting their areas, we were able to work with Florida Association of Broadcasters, get cut-ins about updates for people that were on the road that may be listening to those stations to get them better information. So it was really about before the storm, in some cases, emergency actions that had to be taken in the storms, to the immediate aftermath, where for a lot of folks, the only information they were getting was from radio. There was no power. If you didn't have a radio, you weren't getting updates. This is before the advent of a lot of smartphones and cellular broadcasts. Most of the cellular systems were heavily impacted or were down completely. So if you didn't have radio, by and large, you weren't not getting any updated information about where supplies were, what was going on, boiled water orders. And I think, again, we leveraged the Florida Association of Broadcasters to work with the commercial broadcasters, we work with Florida Public Radio, to get consistent messaging out. But the challenge was, again, if you didn't have a radio, you weren't going to get that information.